Hey, this is Steve Halleck of TickTocking.com, and today I'm going to do a really cool compare and contrast. I've got not only one MB&F, the LM1, but I've got also the LM2, and we're going to see how these things are similar, how they're different, and what changed between LM1 and LM2. Stick around. All right, so here are the two side by side. The first thing that you'll notice is that the cases are identical sizes. Let's look at the LM1 first. So LM1 was the first to come onto the scene. The idea was sort of what would Max, this was the intellectual concept behind it. What would Max make if he were born 100 years ago? So let's take traditional watchmaking and kind of turn it on its head to create a three-dimensional sculpture. And what was achieved here was put the balance wheel up above the dial under this big dome. In order to do that, there's a pinion that you can see that goes all the way sort of through and under down to this exquisitely finished, very actually traditional movement. So functionally, you have two independent time dials, and to go with the kind of classic aesthetics, they are white enamel. They're actually like a high-fired lacquer, like the Philippe Dufour Simplicity, with Roman numerals and blued hands. And each one, as I said, is independently set. I'll show you that in a minute. And then down here, you have a vertical power reserve. And let's wind it up, and I'll show you how that works. So there you can see the power reserve traveling up and the watch has come to life. So now let's check out the independently set dials. So you can see here they're set at the same time zone, which of course you can do. But if you want, you can take this crown out and set that one wherever you want. And this crown does that. So this crown winds and sets that. This crown just sets that dial. Again, full autonomy between the two. So if you go to a place with a weird time zone or for some reason need to be kind of in between or something, you can totally do that. Let's take another look at the movement. Right here you'll see two names that are going to come up again. This is Jean-Francois Mojon and Kari Voutilainen. For those of you who are fans of my channel, they will both be familiar to you. And of course this exquisite finish is the Kari touch on this watch. In fact, these are both, I think, really underrated in terms of their quality of finish, the just beauty of the movement design in kind of a classic movement sense, and the overall horological values here. This is really, really, really good stuff. Okay, let's take a look at LM2. So LM2 is really Max's ode to one of his favorite watches, which is the Philippe Dufour Duality. And Philippe was the first one to, in a wristwatch, put these two completely separate escapements, and these are the regulating organs of the watch. Two totally separate ones, and they're connected by this big central differential that averages out the rate errors between the two. So it's an incredibly precise mechanism. It's very difficult to achieve. It's one rarely seen in horology, and is really, really excellently done, and again, kind of underrated here because a lot of people just don't understand it. But even if you don't understand the basic mechanics involved here, the fact of two balance wheels flying this high above a dial is just really cool. So let's get this one going. This one does not have the vertical power reserve because you've got that central differential down at the bottom. But you can see these balances really add a ton of life to the dial. Now again on this one, you've got this white enamel fired lacquer dial and Roman numerals with the blued hands. This is the traditional legacy machine dial. In this case, however, you can see the case on this one is rose gold versus the white gold of the other. And on the rose gold ones, the entire dial is rimmed in rose gold. So it just adds that really nice finishing touch. In addition, the main plate of this one is a bright silver versus the kind of ruthenium coating on the white gold one. So it gives this piece a very kind of bright, playful look versus the more gray tones of the white gold. And again, on the back, this is really one of the most stunning movements in all of horology, in my opinion. Once again, you have Jean-Francois Maujean and Kari Voutilainen responsible for the construction and finishing of this. And you can see these beautiful sweeping bridges with just exquisite beveling, hand polishing. Look at the shine on the screws, the gold chatons with the rubies. These are these kind of gold cups with rubies inside, which is the very traditional high-end way to make a pivot. It's just a stunning watch. So as I said, these are both the same case size, which is 44 millimeters. However, the LM2 does have a slightly higher dome. So it looks pretty similar on the wrist, but is just a little bit less kind of svelte than that white gold LM1. But you do, for the extra thickness, get even more of this kind of city under glass effect. I'll show them both to you on my wrist. Keep in mind these are both on brand new straps, so forgive them being a little bit stiff and not sitting super comfortably. They do break in and will conform a bit more, but you can see how it really plays with light once it's on your wrist. And it sits quite well. The lugs are very short, they're rounded down, and it's got this curved spring bar strap that's anchored very close in on the lugs. So even if you have a smaller wrist, it'll make sure to hug and fit comfortably. So that's the rose gold LM2. And here's the white gold LM1. A little bit more stark, a little bit more casual. Again, a little bit thinner, so a little less wild. And there we pick up the light and you can see that ruthenium glow a bit. Same case as I've mentioned, so same curved spring bars, same short lugs. So it fits almost exactly the same on the wrist. Boom, so there you have it. Let me know what you thought. I tried some new kind of camera stuff this time, so let me know how that worked out for you. And which is your choice, LM1 or LM2? If you're lucky enough, you just go with both. They're both totally awesome. Hit me in the comments. Please press subscribe. Tell your friends. Hit like. Follow me on Instagram at Steve Halleck. Check out my website, TickTocking.com. I'll be back with more of these, and it's been a real pleasure with watches that are this great.